In the background of the French Revolution, and the anti-Catholic government which followed from it, some friars faced obstacles in their homeland and sought to establish communities of Capuchins elsewhere. Brother Alexis de Barbezieux led a group of friars to a diocese in Ottawa in the late 1800s. The friars there performed parish ministry and ministry to the local factory workers. As the French in the homeland grew more hostile, even more friars immigrated to minister in Canada and serve as witnesses to the Capuchin life. Though after the First World War, a war which featured the bravery of Capuchins, some friars would quietly return to France. These friars of Eastern Canada continued to grow throughout the 20th century, eventually becoming completely independent from their French origins, and in 1986 they became a province. In 1909, the Bishop of Baker City Diocese in Eastern Oregon asked the Irish Capuchins to help him in the newly established diocese, an expansive territory containing a mostly unchurched population of pioneer families. The Irish province of Capuchins were ready to establish their first mission and sent Fathers Luke Sheehan and Thomas Dolling to Hermiston, Oregon in February of 1910. By 1920, the Irish friars were asked to expand into the English Capuchins' California territory because the English had to leave to minister in India. Into the mid-1930s, the Irish friars were populating 4 U.S. states and 6 dioceses, and were reorganized into the custody of St. Patrick. In the 1940s, the custody of St. Patrick ministered through St. Francis High School and Minor Seminary, in 1963 through the new novitiate house in Santa Ynez, California, and in the 70s and 80s the friars converted apartment buildings into formation friaries and established their own mission in northern Mexico. The custody of St. Patrick formally became Our Lady of the Angels Province in 1979. On September 14, 1927, 2 friars, Brother Willibert of Morsel and Brother Ladislas of Zanderheim, arrived in Blenheim, Canada from Belgium. With the arrival of new friars, a canonical house was established in Blenheim under the title of St. Francis Friary, and the friars spread throughout the region. In 1938, these friars were formally organized into the Capuchin custody of Central Canada, and over the next several years, a minor seminary and novitiate were established. By 1970, the custody became the Vice Province of Central Canada, and in 1971, they established their own formation program. During the 1970s, the Vice Province continued to expand with new friaries and parish ministry, and by the mid-80s, the Vice Province of Central Canada finally became the Province of Mary, Mother of the Good Shepherd. Under fear of exile due to persecution by their German government in the 1870s, the Capuchins of Bavaria began to look for a place of refuge abroad. On the invitation of a Pennsylvania abbot named Boniface Wimmer, the Capuchins immigrated to a diocese in Pittsburgh and were received by the local bishop. Over time, these Capuchins were joined by more German expat friars fleeing persecution, and their ministries in the United States were combined into one Pennsylvania province, which extended as far as Victoria, Kansas, participating in ministries such as Hayes Catholic College. The province would extend to many areas of ministry during the 20th century, including preaching, as chaplains in the military, and in satellite missions in areas like Puerto Rico and Papua New Guinea. The province of St. Conrad arose as part of the previously mentioned Pennsylvania province, which was continuing to grow in size with the addition of Colorado. In the late 1970s, the Pennsylvania province was split into the St. Augustine province in the east and the province of St. Conrad in the west. At the time of separation, the Capuchin presence in the province of St. Conrad included work in Victoria, Kansas, Hayes, Kansas, St. Louis, Missouri, and in Denver, Colorado, which included and includes work in education, charitable work, and sacramental ministry. The St. Joseph province was begun by Brother Bonaventure Frey and Brother Francis Haas, who formed a friary in Wisconsin in 1857 under the auspices of the custody of Mount Calvary. In 1882, the custody became the province of St. Joseph, which then included Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Michigan, the Dakotas, New York, and New Jersey, as well as a presence in Indiana and Illinois. The vast size of the St. Joseph province meant that it, like the Pennsylvania province, would eventually split with the new St. Mary province, which took over ministry in the Northeast United States in 1952. The ministries of the St. Joseph province were varied, but included the House of Peace in 1968 to combat poverty, Capuchin Reform for Franciscan Spirituality in New Jersey, and the varied work of Blessed Solanus Casey. After the breakaway of the province of St. Mary from the province of St. Joseph in 1952, the province of St. Mary included 7 houses in New York State. They spread to New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Connecticut, and included parish work, education, and a retreat house. Additionally, the provinces worked abroad, such as in Okinawa and in Central America. The origins of the Stigmata province began with Father Raymond Tonini and Father Michael Gori's journey to America to help minister to Italian immigrants in the early 1900s, since both friars were Italian. Welcomed in New York by the province of St. Joseph, these two friars would minister in urban environments with catechesis, the sacraments, and material assistance. So great was their impact that the General Curia in Rome sent the friars a letter telling them to avoid overextending themselves with too many ministries, eventually able to grow once they gained permission to train more novices. In 1937, the community of friars became a custody and gradually grew to extend throughout the East Coast during the later 20th century and was eventually reclassified as the province of the Sacred Stigmata of St. Francis.